Captain Lisa Moreno looked out at the stars from the bridge of the asterisk horizon asterisk. This was humanity's first journey beyond the solar system, and she felt the weight of 5 billion people's hopes on her shoulders. Her dark hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her eyes reflected the distant light of Alpha Centauri growing larger in the view screen. "Captain, we're picking up that signal again," said Katie Dias from her communication station. The young woman's fingers moved quickly across her console. "It's stronger now. Definitely artificial." Lisa nodded and turned to her science officer. "Alan, what do you think?" Alan Wright adjusted his glasses and studied the readings. "The signal doesn't match any known pattern we've cataloged. It's not random noise. Someone or something is trying to communicate." The bridge fell silent. After years of searching, humanity might finally have its answer about life beyond Earth. "How far?" Lisa asked. "Based on signal strength, I'd say it's coming from just beyond the 4th planet in the system," Alan replied. "We can be there in 6 hours." Lisa took a deep breath. "Sam, set a course. Jake, bring us to yellow alert status. I want everyone ready for anything." Engineer Sam Rodriguez and security lead Jake Collins acknowledged her orders. The asterisk horizon asterisk changed direction, its powerful engines pushing the ship deeper into the Alpha Centauri system. The crew ate a quiet meal together in the mess hall. No one said much. They all knew what might be waiting for them. First contact. The moment humanity had wondered about since people first looked up at the night sky. "Do you think they'll be friendly?" Katie asked, breaking the silence. Jake shrugged his broad shoulders. "Better to be careful than sorry." Sam smiled and pointed his fork at Jake. "Always the optimist, aren't you?" "That's why he's in security," Lisa said with a small smile. "But let's hope for the best while preparing for anything else." 5 hours later, Lisa was back on the bridge when Sam's voice came through the comm. "Captain, you're going to want to see this." The massive ship appeared on their sensors first, then became visible through the view screen. It dwarfed the asterisk horizon asterisk, easily 20 times its size. Its surface was smooth and reflected the light of the nearby star. "Any response to our hails?" Lisa asked Katie. "Nothing yet, Captain. I've tried all frequencies and wait." Katie pressed her hand to her earpiece. "I'm getting something. I think it's a response." Strange symbols appeared on the main screen, shifting and changing for several minutes before forming into English words. "They've decoded our language." Alan whispered in amazement. "That should have taken years." The message was simple. "We wish to meet. Permission to board your vessel." Lisa looked at her crew. "Opinions?" "It could be a trap," Jake said immediately. "Or the greatest moment in human history," Alan countered. Lisa nodded. "Prepare the meeting room." Jake, security protocols in place. Katie, send our acceptance. An hour later, a small shuttle departed from the alien ship and approached the asterisk horizon asterisk. Lisa and her senior crew waited in the meeting room, hearts pounding as the airlock cycled. The door slid open. 3 different creatures entered. The first was tall and slender with blue-tinted skin and 4 arms. It moved with fluid grace. The second resembled a giant insect with compound eyes and clicking mandibles. The third seemed almost made of liquid, its form shifting slightly with each movement. "I am Zenith of the Xilarians," the tall blue being said in perfect English. "My companions are Kriz of the Vrespiks and Flutus of the Morith. We represent the Galactic Confederation, an alliance of 27 spacefaring civilizations." Lisa stepped forward, her back straight, shoulders squared. "I am Captain Lisa Moreno of Earth. We welcome you aboard the asterisk horizon asterisk." She extended her hand in the universal human greeting of friendship and peace. All 3 aliens recoiled in obvious horror. Zenith's eyes widened, Kriz's mandibles clicked rapidly, and Flutus's body rippled in what seemed like distress. What are you doing?" Zenith asked, backing away further. Lisa slowly lowered her hand, confusion written across her face. "I was offering a handshake. It's how humans greet each other. You were going to touch us. Flutus's voice sounded shocked, deliberately. In that moment, Lisa realized their first contact might already be off to a very bad start. The United Nations building in New York buzzed with activity. World leaders gathered in the main hall, their faces showing a mix of worry and wonder. On the large screen at the front of the room, they watched the recorded meeting between Captain Lisa Moreno and the aliens. "We need a specialist," said Director Olivia Carter, her voice cutting through the murmurs in the room. "Someone who understands alien cultures." President Gary Winters nodded. "I already called for Dr. Noah Bennett. He's the best contact specialist we have." Noah Bennett arrived 2 hours later. He was a tall man with kind eyes and hair going gray at the temples. He had spent his life studying how different cultures might communicate with each other. Now he would need to use those skills with beings from another world. "The aliens have requested that Captain Moreno's crew stay away from them," Director Carter explained to Noah. "They seem afraid of us." Noah watched the recording again, focusing on how the aliens moved away when Lisa offered her hand. "I need to get up there," he said simply. 3 days later, Noah arrived at the Horizon on a fast shuttle. Captain Moreno met him at the dock. "I'm glad you're here, Dr. Bennett," she said. "The aliens have barely spoken to us since that first meeting." Noah nodded. "Call me Noah. And don't worry about what happened. You couldn't have known." The aliens agreed to meet with Noah in a special room. They sat far away from him, keeping a large empty space between them. "I am here to understand," Noah said gently. "We meant no offense with our greeting." Zenith, the tall blue Xilarian, spoke first. "In our cultures, touching is only for those who are very close. Family members, life partners. To offer touch to a stranger is—" He searched for the right word. "It is either very intimate or very threatening." Noah nodded slowly. "I see. For humans, a handshake is a sign of trust and friendship. We touch to show we are not hiding weapons." Kriz, the insect-like Frespix, made a clicking sound. "Our species use other ways to form bonds. We share chemical signals." He raised one of his limbs, showing small openings that released scents. "Morith connect by matching our electrical fields," added Flutus, the shifting liquid being. "All 27 species in the Confederation have ways that do not require physical contact." Noah took notes, fascinated. "So our handshake violated a rule that all your cultures share?" "Yes," said Zenith. "The Confederation Council is very concerned. They have ordered us to place Earth under quarantine." Noah looked up sharply. "Quarantine? What does that mean?" "Humans must stay in your solar system," Kriz explained. "You cannot travel to other worlds until you show you can control your touching behavior." Back on the bridge, Noah shared the news with Captain Moreno and her crew. "They're afraid of us because we shake hands," Jake asked, disbelief in his voice. Noah shook his head. "It's deeper than that. Their cultures evolved without casual physical contact. To them, our behavior seems wild and unpredictable. So we're trapped in our solar system because we're too touchy-feely?" Sam asked. "For now," Noah said. "But there's more. I feel they're not telling us everything. They seem genuinely scared, not just disgusted." Lisa looked out at the stars and the alien ship floating nearby. "We need to understand them better. The future of humanity depends on it." At that moment, Katie hurried onto the bridge. "Captain, we're receiving a message. A larger delegation from the Confederation is heading to Earth. They're establishing an embassy in Geneva." "That could be good news," Alan suggested. Noah wasn't so sure. "Or they're coming to make sure we stay put." Lisa straightened her uniform. "Well, we won't solve anything hiding up here. Noah, let's prepare to return to Earth. I want to be there when these new aliens arrive." As the Horizon prepared to head home, none of them realized that the simple human handshake had already sent ripples through the Galactic Confederation, ripples that would soon become waves. The new alien embassy in Geneva was a strange sight. The building seemed to shift and change, with walls that curved in impossible ways. Guards stood at every entrance, both human and alien. No one was allowed to get too close. Inside one of the meeting rooms, President Winters sat with his advisors. Across from them, Ambassador Krelzar of the Xilarians led the alien delegation. The tall blue alien wore elaborate robes with symbols that glowed faintly. "The terms are simple," Krelzar said. "Humanity must remain in your solar system until you evolve beyond your primitive physical behaviors." Noah Bennett, sitting beside the president, leaned forward. "With respect, Ambassador, this seems extreme. Our physical nature is part of who we are." "Then you will stay where you are," Krelzar replied coldly. "The Confederation has agreed. You are too unpredictable, too dangerous to join galactic society." After the meeting, people around the world watched the news. Many were angry. "Who are they to call us primitive?" a woman in Chicago said to a reporter. "Maybe we should change," a man in Tokyo suggested, "if that's what it takes to join them." The debate raged everywhere. Some people started wearing gloves and keeping their distance from others, trying to adopt alien ways. Others proudly shook hands at every opportunity, refusing to give up human traditions. President Winters faced pressure from all sides. Business leaders wanted access to alien technology. Military advisors worried about Earth's defense. Regular people just wanted to know what would happen next. At the Geneva embassy, Noah and Captain Moreno met in a small side room. "I don't think this is just about handshakes," Lisa said quietly. "Did you notice how they flinch when we move too quickly? They're actually afraid of us." Noah nodded. "I've been studying the information they've shared about the Confederation. 27 species, all with strict rules about personal space. But humans are different. We're adaptable, we learn quickly, and we're comfortable with physical contact." "You think that scares them?" "I think it terrifies them," Noah replied. "We're the first species they've met that doesn't fit their rules." Outside the room, a young woman named Maria Patul was organizing files. She worked as an aide for the diplomatic team and had access to the records the aliens had shared. As she sorted through them, something caught her eye. A mention of something called the Kinteri incident. Maria looked around to make sure no one was watching, then copied the file to read later. Meanwhile, at the United Nations, a new group of aliens arrived. They were different from the others, covered in hard scales with narrow eyes and sharp teeth. They called themselves the Dravnar. "We are concerned about the human situation," their leader, Commander Vex, announced. "Our species has dealt with dangerous newcomers before. We believe humans should be completely isolated for everyone's safety." Director Carter didn't like the sound of that. Complete isolation. That's more than the quarantine already in place. Commander Vex fixed her with his cold gaze. "The quarantine is temporary. We suggest more permanent measures." That evening, Maria sat in her small apartment, reading the file she had taken. Her eyes widened as she learned about the Kinteri, another species that had made contact with the Confederation 200 years ago. "They were like us," she whispered to herself. The file was incomplete, but it mentioned that the Kinteri also used physical contact as part of their culture. After first contact, they had been quarantined too. But then something happened, and they disappeared from all Confederation records. Maria picked up her phone. She needed to tell someone about this. Something wasn't right about the story the aliens were telling. She dialed Noah Bennett's number, her hand shaking slightly. As the phone rang, she didn't notice the small drone hovering outside her window, watching her every move. Noah Bennett met Maria Patil in a small coffee shop far from the embassy. The place was nearly empty, with just an old man reading a newspaper in the corner. "What you found could be important," Noah said after Maria told him about the Kinteri. "We need to learn more." "I know someone who can help," Maria replied. "Alan Wright from the Horizon crew. He has access to the science database the aliens shared." The next day, Alan joined their secret research group. Using Maria's diplomatic codes and Alan's scientific knowledge, they dug deeper into the Confederation records. "Look at this," Alan said, pointing to his tablet screen. "The Kintari were quarantined 200 years ago. Their file ends with a note about them being resolved by the Dravnar." "Resolved?" Maria asked. "What does that mean?" Noah frowned. "Nothing good, I think." They searched further and found something even more disturbing. The Kintari weren't the only species that had disappeared. 5 other civilizations had been labeled incompatible and then vanished from the records, all after meeting the Dravnar. "They're hiding something big," Alan said, "but we need more information." "I might know someone who can help," Noah said quietly. "The Morith representative, Flutus, seems different from the others. Less afraid, more curious about us." Noah arranged a private meeting with Flutus in the embassy garden. The liquid-like alien shifted nervously as they spoke. "What happened to the Kintari?" Noah asked directly. Flutus's form rippled. "You found their records. You should not speak of this." "Please," Noah said. "We need to know." After a long pause, Flutus spoke. "The Confederation was not always as it is now. Long ago, many species touched and lived closely together. Then came the Great Disease. Millions died when different species shared spaces and made contact. And that's why touching became taboo." Noah asked. "It was the beginning," Flutus continued, "but the Dravnar took it further. They pushed for strict separation of all species. They said it was for safety, but they grew stronger as others grew apart." "What about the Kintari?" Flutus looked around nervously. "They were like you. They touched. They adapted quickly. The Dravnar said they were dangerous and had to be controlled. The Kintari were not destroyed, but—" Flutus paused. "They were taken to Dravnar worlds. They work for them now. They have no freedom." Noah felt cold. "Slaves. The Dravnar call them protected workers. But yes, slaves." Flutus moved closer. "I have already said too much. Be careful, human. The Dravnar want the same for your people." Back at the UN building, Captain Moreno received alarming news from Earth's space stations. "Multiple Confederation ships have entered the solar system," the officer reported. "They're positioning themselves near Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn." "Are they Dravnar ships?" Lisa asked. "Yes, Captain. At least half of them." Lisa immediately called President Winters. "Sir, I think we need to prepare for the worst." The president looked tired on the video screen. "I was afraid of this. I've already ordered our defense forces to high alert. But what can we do against their technology?" "Buy time," Lisa suggested. "Noah and his team are finding things out. We need to stall any aggressive action." Meanwhile, Director Carter organized an emergency meeting with all Earth's military leaders. "We're not going to surrender our planet or our way of life," she told them firmly. "If these Dravnar want to turn us into slaves like the Kintari, they'll find that humans don't go quietly." Across the room, one general asked the question everyone was thinking. "But how do we fight ships that can cross galaxies? Our best weapons would be like throwing rocks at them." Director Carter smiled grimly. "Sometimes a well-placed rock is all you need. Let's get to work on our options." As the meeting continued, none of them noticed the small device under the conference table, recording every word and sending it directly to Commander Vex's ship in orbit above Earth. The large meeting room in the Geneva embassy was filled with both humans and aliens. Ambassador Krelzar stood with other Confederation representatives on one side. President Winters, Noah Bennett, and Captain Moreno sat on the other. The tension in the air was thick. "We have concerns about Dravnar ships entering our solar system," President Winters said firmly. "They have taken positions that could be seen as threatening." Commander Vex of the Dravnar stepped forward, his scaled skin gleaming under the lights. "We are simply ensuring the quarantine is maintained. Nothing more." Before anyone could respond, a young Vrespix delegate in the back of the room suddenly collapsed. The insect-like alien fell to the floor, its limbs shaking wildly. Sitkul is having a seizure, another Vrespix cried out. Someone help. The aliens backed away, unsure what to do. None moved to touch the suffering delegate. Without thinking, Noah rushed forward and knelt beside the fallen alien. I need to help him. No, Ambassador Krulzar shouted. You cannot touch. But Noah was already examining Titkul. The Vrespix's breathing holes were closing. Noah recognized the signs from the medical briefings he had studied. He can't breathe, Noah announced. I need to clear his airways. Using the emergency medical training he had received, Noah carefully turned Titkul on his side. He used a small tool from his pocket to gently clear the Vrespix's breathing passages. Soon, Titkul's breathing improved. The shaking stopped. The room had fallen completely silent. Every alien watched in shock as Noah helped Titkul sit up slowly. You touched me, Titkul said weakly. I had to, Noah replied simply. You needed help. The young Vrespix looked at Noah with new understanding. And you saved my life by doing so. The moment was broken when Commander Vex stormed forward. This human assaulted a Confederation delegate. He must be detained immediately. Ambassador Krulzar looked uncertain. The human did break our most important rule. But Titkul would have died without help, Captain Moreno pointed out. Surely that matters. Titkul stood up shakily. The human is right. None of you moved to help me. Your fear of touch would have let me die. The room erupted in arguments. Some aliens demanded Noah's arrest. Others, including Flutus of the Morth, defended his actions. Commander Vex grew more angry by the minute. This proves humans are dangerous, Vex shouted. They act without permission, without proper protocols. President Winters stood tall. We act to save lives. If that's dangerous, then yes, we are dangerous. As the debate raged, Maria Patel slipped a note to Alan Wright, who read it quickly and passed it to Captain Moreno. The message was clear. Dravnar ships are powering up weapons systems. Lisa whispered the news to the president, whose face remained calm despite the danger. I think this meeting is over for now, President Winters announced. We need time to consider all positions. As they left the embassy, Noah found himself walking beside Titkul. Thank you, the young Vrespix said quietly. What you did, it has made me question many things I was taught. Sometimes rules need to be broken, Noah replied gently. The Dravnar will not let this go, Titkul warned. They have too much to lose if others begin to think as I do now. Back at the UN building, Director Carter received urgent reports from space. The Dravnar ships are moving, ma'am, an officer reported. They're taking up attack positions. Director Carter's face hardened. Alert all defense stations, and get me Captain Moreno and the President. We're out of time. In his private chambers, Commander Vex communicated with the Dravnar fleet. The humans are too dangerous to be allowed freedom, he said coldly. Begin the operation. Today we will add Earth to our collection of controlled worlds. What nobody realized was that Titkul had followed Noah and overheard this command. The young Vrespix hurried away to find Noah and warn him of the coming attack. Noah, Maria, and Alan met in a small room at the UN building. Maps and files covered the table between them. Titkul had just finished telling them about Commander Vex's plans. We need to warn everyone, Noah said, reaching for his phone. It's too late for just warnings, Maria replied. We need proof to show the other Confederation species what the Dravnar have been doing. Alan nodded. I've been looking through all the data we've gathered. The Dravnar have been hiding the truth for centuries. They didn't just enslave the Kintari. They've been doing this to every tactile species they found. That's why they promote the no-touching rules, Noah realized. It keeps species from forming bonds with each other, keeps everyone separate, and easier to control. Titkul's antennae twitched nervously. The Dravenar have always claimed to protect us. Many will not believe they have such evil plans. Maria looked up from her tablet. I think I found something. The records show that when the Great Disease happened, it only affected certain species. And guess which ones were immune? The Dravenar. Alan asked. Exactly, Maria confirmed. They used the disease to take power, then created rules that kept everyone afraid and separated. Meanwhile, aboard the Horizon Captain Moreno and her crew monitored the Dravenar ships. Engineer Sam Rodriguez studied the energy readings with growing interest. Captain, I'm noticing something strange about the Dravenar ships, Sam said. They're giving off unusual energy patterns when they communicate. Lisa moved to his station. What kind of patterns? It's like they're extra sensitive to certain frequencies, Sam explained, especially ones similar to human voice range. And when we scanned their shuttle during the embassy visit, I noticed their bodies give off strange readings too. Are you saying they might have a weakness? Lisa asked. Sam nodded slowly. Maybe. Their biology seems especially sensitive to the same kinds of energy humans produce naturally. Our voices, our body heat, even the electrical impulses in our skin when we touch. That could explain why they're so afraid of us touching them. Lisa realized. It might actually hurt them or disrupt their systems somehow. Back at the UN building, President Winters met with Director Carter and military leaders. The situation was growing more serious by the minute. The Dravenar fleet is moving into attack formation, an officer reported. Our sensors show weapons charging. President Winters looked grim. What are our options? Limited, Director Carter admitted. We have defense satellites and a small fleet of space vessels, but nothing that can match their technology. The door burst open as Noah, Maria, Alan, and Titkul rushed in. Mr. President, Noah said urgently, we have evidence about the Dravenar's real plans. They'd been manipulating the Confederation for centuries. Maria quickly explained what they had discovered about the Dravenar's history of enslaving tactile species and using the no-touch rules to keep control. We need to share this with the full Confederation Council, Noah said. Many of them don't know what the Dravenar have been doing. President Winters nodded. I'll request an emergency council session. Just then, Captain Moreno called in. Her face on the screen looked excited despite the danger. Mr. President, Sam has discovered something important about Dravenar physiology. They seem extremely sensitive to human voice frequencies and the energy produced by human touch. It might be their weakness. Can we use this? The President asked. Maybe, Lisa replied. But we need more information to be sure. As they spoke, alarms blared throughout the building. Outside, people pointed to the sky where strange lights appeared. The Dravenar have started their attack, Director Carter announced. They're targeting our satellite defenses first. On the screen, Lisa's image flickered. We're moving to engage their ships. It won't be much, but we'll buy you some time. President Winters stood tall. Get that emergency council meeting now, and prepare our defenses. Today humanity will show the galaxy that we won't be enslaved or controlled. As Noah watched the Horizon move to defend Earth, he knew they had only one chance to reveal the truth before the Dravenar silenced them forever. The Confederation Council chamber was filled with representatives from all 27 species. Screens around the room showed the Dravenar ships attacking Earth's defenses. President Winters stood before them, with Noah, Maria, and Titkul at his side. Ambassador Krelzar looked confused by the emergency meeting. Why have you called us while your world is under attack? Krelzar asked. Because the attack itself is based on lies, President Winters replied. The Dravenar have been lying to all of you for centuries. Commander Vex stormed into the chamber, flanked by his guards. These humans spread dangerous ideas. They must be stopped. Let them speak, Flutus of the Morith demanded. I have suspected Dravenar deception for many years. Maria stepped forward and presented their evidence. She showed records of the Kinteri and other tactile species that had been enslaved, not quarantined. She revealed data about the great disease that had been manipulated by the Dravenar. The no-touch rule doesn't protect you, No explained. It keeps you separated and afraid of each other. It makes you easier for the Dravenar to control. Sit-Kul moved to the center of the room. I was dying, and only the human's touch saved me. We have been taught to fear something that can also heal and help. Murmurs spread through the council. Many alien representatives looked at each other with new understanding. Meanwhile, in space, the Horizon and Earth's small fleet fought against the much larger Dravenar ships. Captain Moreno's voice came through to the council chamber. "We can't hold them much longer, Mr. President." Sam Rodriguez joined the transmission. "Sir, we've confirmed the Dravenar weakness. Their systems are disrupted by the frequencies in human voices and the electrical signals from human touch. That's why they fear us so much." In the council chamber, Commander Vex's anger boiled over. "Enough of this. The humans must be controlled like all the others." "Others?" Ambassador Krulzar asked sharply. "What others do you mean?" Vex realized his mistake too late. His scales flushed dark with rage. "You simple fools. The Dravenar have kept the Confederation strong by removing threats. Tactile species like humans form bonds too easily. They adapt too quickly. They cannot be allowed freedom." The chamber fell silent at this confession. Then, chaos erupted as Dravenar guards drew weapons. The other aliens scattered in fear. "This ends now," Vex snarled, aiming his weapon at President Winters. In that moment, President Winters did something unexpected. He walked straight toward Ambassador Krulzar of the Xilarians, the highest-ranking council member. Everyone watched in shock as the human president slowly extended his hand to the alien. "We can be different without being enemies," President Winters said calmly. "We can touch without harm. We can be stronger together than apart." Ambassador Krulzar looked at the offered hand. Centuries of fear and tradition told him to back away, but the evidence he had seen, and the Dravenar's confession, made him pause. Slowly, carefully, the Xilarian extended his four-fingered hand and took the human's. It was the first voluntary cross-species handshake in Confederation history. A ripple seemed to pass through the chamber. Other aliens watched in amazement as nothing terrible happened. The universe didn't end. No one died from the touch. "Stop them!" Commander Vex screamed, raising his weapon. But it was too late. Flutus and other Confederation guards surrounded the Dravenar. In space, the Confederation ships turned against the Dravenar fleet, joining Earth's defenders. 1 month later, the newly reformed Confederation Council met again. Earth had joined as the 28th member world. The Kinteri and other enslaved species had been freed from Dravenar control. Noah, now Earth's official ambassador, worked with Sit-Kul and representatives from all species to create the Tactile Protocol, a new approach that respected both physical and non-physical forms of connection. It started with a handshake no one saw coming, Noah said as he signed the new agreement. And now it's changing the galaxy. Ambassador Krulzar, still getting used to occasional physical contact, nodded in agreement. Sometimes the things we fear most are exactly what we need to grow. As the signing ceremony ended, humans and aliens alike tried the new greeting, a blend of human handshakes and alien traditions that symbolized their new understanding. The galaxy would never be the same again.